the morning I collapsed in the break room at work. My mother was getting her nails done. I didn't find that out right away. I was unconscious when it happened, fell against the edge of the counter, on my way down. A granola bar still in my hand. I had been standing at the coffee machine trying to drink enough to make my vision stop blurring. It was 3:14 in the afternoon. That granola bar was my first meal of the day. My coworker found me on the floor. She's the one who called 911. She rode with me in the ambulance, held my hand while the paramedics started an IV, and stayed in the ER waiting room for 3 hours, even though I kept trying to tell her she didn't have to. The hospital called my emergency contact, my mother, twice. Left voicemails both times. My mother didn't pick up. My coworker texted me updates from the waiting room. My mother texted me once, 4 hours after I was admitted. "Hope you're feeling better, sweetie. Getting a little treat today." I stared at that text for a long time. I had transferred $200 to her that very morning. A miscellaneous contribution, she called it. Groceries, she said. What she meant was whatever she felt like. I know now that what she felt like was a gel manicure. I'm Hadley. I'm 32 years old. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I work as a paralegal at a mid-sized litigation firm downtown. I make $58,000 a year before taxes. That sounds like a decent living. It was technically enough, if all of it had been mine. It was never mine. Let me tell you about my family. My mother is 55. She has what she calls a nervous system. This is not a diagnosis. No doctor has ever given her a diagnosis because she cycles through doctors the way other people cycle through streaming shows, binging hard, then abandoning them the moment they say something she doesn't want to hear. What her nervous system means in practical terms is that she cannot work, cannot drive on the highway, cannot handle stress, and cannot manage finances. What it does not prevent her from doing: hosting book club, attending her neighbor's wine nights, going to a Wednesday yoga class at the YMCA, and as confirmed, getting her nails done while I was unconscious on a break room floor. My stepfather has been in my mother's life since I was 12. He sold commercial real estate for a while. Then his knee went bad. He hasn't worked in 5 years. He manages things around the house, he says, which means he watches golf on television and tells my mother which things around the house need managing. He drives a 2021 F-150 that I pay $350 a month toward. It was his idea to include me in the loan. Family invests in family, he said, the day he pulled up in it. I didn't remember agreeing to invest. My younger sister is 28. She's an entrepreneur. She sells handmade jewelry and soy candles through an Etsy shop she calls Ember and Thread. I funded Ember and Thread's launch. I funded its first inventory order, its second inventory order, its booth fees at the Franklin Farmers Market, its Instagram ad campaigns, its rebranding last spring when she decided the name wasn't elevated enough and hired a graphic designer. She never asked if she could pay me back. She just sent me the invoices. I paid them. She posted about being a small business owner building something from scratch, and I liked the posts because I didn't know what else to do. My younger brother is 24. He's the quiet one. He enrolled at Nashville State Community College last fall, cybersecurity track, his third program in 4 years. Before that, it was HVAC certification, and before that, it was a business associate's degree that he completed 1 semester of. He's not lazy exactly. He just has trouble finishing things. I pay his rent at a student apartment complex near campus, $725 a month. He always texts to say thank you, and his thank yous are so sincere that I feel worse after receiving them than before. Every month on the 1st and the 15th, I did what I have to call the ritual. I would sit at my kitchen table with my laptop open and my banking app pulled up. I would look at my take-home pay, around $3,400 after taxes and my contribution to the firm's health plan, and I would begin. Transfer $800 to my mother's account. Her share of the mortgage on the house I grew up in, the house I don't live in. Transfer $200 for utilities. My mother's name is on the electric and gas bills. Transfer $350 toward my stepfather's truck loan, which is also in my name. Transfer variable $400 to $700 for my sister's boutique operating expenses. Transfer $725 for my brother's rent. Transfer $200 for my mother's miscellaneous. When I was done, I had between $400 and $600 left for myself. My own rent in Nashville is $100. I covered the gap with overtime and, in lean months, a credit card I had been slowly maxing out since the previous spring. I ate a lot of granola bars. I bought my coffee at the gas station near the office because it was 99 cents. My couch was from Facebook Marketplace. My car has 112,000 miles on it. I own 2 pairs of dress pants and I rotate them. My sister posted her jewelry under golden hour lighting in an apartment I was paying for. There was a woman who saw all of this clearly. She had been seeing it clearly for years. My father's mother, my grandmother, the one I always called Nana Roo, lives alone in a small house in Knoxville, about 2.5 hours east of Nashville. She's 74. She has white hair she doesn't bother coloring and a way of looking at you that feels like being held up to a window. She was my father's mother, and she never warmed to my mother after the divorce, and she never pretended to. 2 years ago, she called me on a Tuesday night. I was at my kitchen table doing the ritual. "You sound tired," she said. "Work is busy." A pause. "You eating?" "Yeah, of course." She didn't say anything for a moment. Then, "You can't keep pouring into a bucket with no bottom, Hadley. The bucket doesn't fill. You just empty yourself out." I told her I was fine. I told her it wasn't forever, that my sister was building something real, that my brother was almost done with school, that my mother's health was complicated. Nana Roo listened to all of it. When I was finished, she said, "I know you believe that." And that was all she said. I didn't call her for 6 months after that. I wasn't angry exactly. I just didn't want to hear the sound of someone knowing what I wasn't ready to know. The week I collapsed, everything arrived at once. My stepfather's truck needed $1,900 in repairs. A timing chain issue, he said. He sent me a screenshot of the mechanic's estimate with a message underneath. "Figured you'd want to see this." Not a question. A statement. He figured I'd want to see it because he figured I would pay it. My sister texted me about the Christmas market in December. She'd been waitlisted for a booth and just got off the wait list. The fee was $600. She needed to pay by Friday. "This could be huge for the brand," she said. "I can finally see it taking off." My brother needed $450 for a CompTIA certification exam. He was sorry to ask. He almost didn't text, he said. But the exam was next week and the registration deadline was tonight, and he really thought this one was going to change things. $2,850 total. My savings account had $2,200. I drained it, all of it. I paid the mechanic. I sent my sister the booth fee. I paid my brother's exam registration. Then I opened my credit card app and winced at the number. Then I closed the app. Then I made a pot of coffee and went back to the set of documents I was reviewing for a deposition the following week. That was a Thursday. I had been sleeping 4 hours a night. I had been skipping lunch to get through the review faster. I had a dull headache that had been living behind my right eye for 2 weeks. I thought it was screen fatigue. I thought it was caffeine. I thought if I could just get through the deposition prep, I could breathe. I was at the coffee machine on a Tuesday afternoon, 6 days after I drained my savings, when the room went sideways. I remember reaching for the counter. I remember the floor coming up faster than made sense. I remember nothing after that. I woke up in a hospital bed. There were tubes in my arm. The light was too bright. My coworker was sitting in the chair by the door, reading something on her phone. When she saw my eyes open, she stood up. "Hey, you're back. You scared us half to death." "What happened?" "You passed out, in the break room. Hit your head on the counter." She paused. "The doctors said your blood sugar was critically low. They also said you're anemic. Like seriously anemic, Hadley. When did you last eat a real meal?" I didn't answer that honestly. They kept me overnight for observation. My coworker stayed for another hour, then went home. The nurse told me they'd called my emergency contact, my mother. "Did she?" I started. "We left 2 messages," the nurse said. Her voice was carefully neutral. I looked at my phone. It had been sitting on the tray table, plugged into a charger my coworker had brought from her own bag. 0 missed calls. 1 text message. The nail salon emoji. I lay there for a while. The heart monitor beeped. The room smelled like antiseptic. Outside the window, it was getting dark. I opened Instagram. The first post in my feed was my sister's. She'd posted 3 hours ago. It was a flat-lay photo of her new holiday collection, silver earrings on white linen, a cluster of small amber candles, a sprig of eucalyptus arranged in the corner. Beautiful photo, the kind that takes an hour to set up. The caption read, "New holiday drops are leave. So grateful for this creative life and for everyone who believes in small businesses. Your support means everything. Link in bio." I looked at the photo for a long time. The silver earrings. I had paid for the raw materials, the candle supplies, the linen backdrop she used for all her product shots. The apartment itself, visible in the corner of the frame. The large window, the warm lamp, the bookshelf arranged just so. I was the only person who had ever believed in this small business. I had believed in it to the tune of more than $20,000. I turned my phone over, placed it face down on the tray table, stared at the ceiling. And then something shifted. I can't explain it exactly. It wasn't a decision I made so much as a thing that stopped. Some mechanism in me. The one that had been running for 8 years. The one that processed every phone call and every invoice as a problem for me to solve. It just went quiet. Like a fan you've been listening to for so long you forgot it was making noise. And then it stops. I picked up my phone. I called Nana Roo. She answered on the second ring. Hadley, not a question, just my name. Nana. I couldn't get more than that out at first. What is it, baby? What happened? I'm in the hospital. I told her what I could. The collapse, the blood sugar, the anemia. I heard her breath change on the other end of the line. Not panic. Something harder and colder than panic. What hospital? Vanderbilt. I'm coming. Don't you move? Nana, you don't have to. 2.5 hours, she said. I'll be there before 10. Don't open any calls from your mother until I'm with you. She was there at 9:47. She walked into the room with her purse over one arm and her reading glasses already pushed up on her forehead, like she had come prepared to read something. She sat down in the chair next to my bed. She looked at the IV in my arm. She looked at the monitor. Something moved across her face. A flash of something old and furious. And then it was gone, replaced by that quiet she carries everywhere. Tell me everything, she said. I told her everything. I told her about the ritual, about the transfers, about the timing chain and the booth fee and the certifications exam, about the granola bars, about the credit card, about the $200 miscellaneous, about the nail salon emoji. Nana Roo did not interrupt. She did not gasp. She sat very still and she listened, and when I was done, she held out her hand. Give me your phone. She put on her reading glasses. She opened my banking app. She logged in using the password I gave her. She went to the transaction history and she started scrolling back. Not just a month, not just 6 months. She went back 5 years. The room was quiet except for the beeping of the monitor and the sound of her finger sliding up the screen. Sliding and sliding, up through years of my life. After a long time, she set the phone down on her knee. Can I tell you what I see? Yes. She picked it up again. She read like it was evidence. Your mother? $800 a month starting 8 years ago. More recently, $200 extra for miscellaneous, which I can see went up in frequency over time. Utilities added 2 years ago. She paused. $30-some thousand to the house she lives in with a man who doesn't work. I hadn't ever added it up that way. I had been afraid to. Your stepfather. Truck payments, which are in your name, by the way, which means you're also carrying the insurance. Registration fees. And here, she stopped. Here is a charge last March for a golf club membership. $240, recurring monthly. I had forgotten about that one. He'd mentioned it once. I had said okay. Your sister, Nana Roo's voice didn't change, but she breathed out slowly through her nose. Etsy shop launch, inventory, more inventory, market booth fees, graphic designer, Instagram ads, photography backdrop, shipping supplies, another inventory run. She paused. In the last 4 years, you have given that boutique over $22,000. It has never turned a profit. I knew this. I had never let myself say it out loud. Your brother. Something softened slightly. Rent, tuition gap, exam fees. He says thank you every time. She looked at me over her glasses. That doesn't make it better. I know. She set the phone down on the tray table, took off her reading glasses, rubbed her eyes. Do you want to know the number? She asked. The real number? I didn't want to. I said yes. In the last 5 years, just 5 years, Hadley, not counting what came before, you have transferred approximately $128,000 to members of your immediate family. She said it evenly, like a weather report. You have $41 in your checking account. You have a maxed credit card and another that is 3/4 of the way there. You have nothing in savings. And you are in a hospital bed with an IV in your arm because you stopped eating real food so you could cover a truck repair for a man who calls you for money, but has never once called to check if you got home safe. The heart monitor beeped, steady, slow. I thought if I helped enough. I know what you thought, not unkindly. You thought it was love. It wasn't love, baby. Love flows both ways. What they had with you was a pipeline. You were on one end and they were on the other, and as long as the pipeline held, nobody needed to change anything. She looked at me. Your pipeline just broke. The next morning, I was different. I don't know how else to say it. The night had done something to me. Or maybe the 5 years had done it, and the night was just when I finally noticed. I wasn't angry in the way I expected to be angry. I was just clear. The fog was gone. In its place was something cold and precise. Nana Roo arrived at 8:30 with real coffee from the place on the corner. We sat together in the hospital room and she handed me my phone. You have to be the one to do it, she said. I'll be right here. I opened my banking app. I went to the scheduled payments page. There were 6 entries. The first one, my mother's mortgage contribution, $800, first of every month. I held my finger over the delete button. I thought about what it would mean. The check bouncing, my mother's phone calls, the guilt, the accusation. The voice in my head that said, but she's your mother, but it's the house you grew up in. But what if something happens to her? I looked at Nana Roo. She just looked back at me. I pressed delete. I pressed confirm. The line disappeared from the screen. I went through the rest of them. Each one. The utilities, the truck payment, the boutique fund, my brother's rent, the miscellaneous. I deleted them all one at a time, and I read the confirmation screen each time and I clicked through it, and it was the hardest and most correct thing I had ever done. When the page was empty, I couldn't speak for a moment. Good, Nana Roo said quietly, now the rest. I blocked my sister on Venmo. I blocked my mother on Zelle. I changed my banking password. I changed my email password. When it was done, we put the phone on the tray table, volume all the way up, and we waited. It took 11 minutes. My sister called first, I answered. Put it on speaker. Hadley. Her voice was a blade. My supplier charge bounced this morning. In front of a vendor I've been trying to work with for a year. Do you know how embarrassing? I'm in the hospital, I said. I've been here since yesterday. A pause. I know Mom mentioned it. Are you okay? I'm stable. Okay, good. So can you just log in and... No. Another pause. Longer. What? I'm not going to fix the payment. I'm not sending money. Not today, not next month, not ever again. I could hear her breathing then. Hadley, this is my business. This is my livelihood. You can't just... I can, I said. I just did. I ended the call. My mother called 12 seconds later. Her voice was warm, honeyed. The voice she uses when she needs something and knows she has to ask carefully. Sweetheart, oh my goodness, we have been so worried. I tried to call last night, but I didn't get through. She had not tried to call. I had checked. Listen, I know you've had a rough time and I don't want to add any stress, but there's been some kind of mix-up with the account, the mortgage payment. There's no mix-up, Mom. What? I canceled it. I canceled all of them. I kept my voice level. Nana Roo was watching me from the chair. I'm not sending money anymore. The honey evaporated. I'm sorry? I'm done. I've been in the hospital since yesterday. My blood sugar crashed. I have anemia. The doctors told me I have been malnourished. I said the word carefully. Malnourished. I have been under-reading for months to cover transfers to your account. That's over. You are being hysterical, she said. Low and deliberate. You are in a hospital and you are not thinking clearly. We'll talk about this when you're feeling better. We won't. I hung up. My stepfather sent a text. Just 4 words. You'll regret this, Hadley. Not a question. Not an argument. A warning meant to make me feel small. I read it once. Then I set the phone down. My brother texted an hour later. His message was different. Hey, I heard what happened. I'm really sorry you're in the hospital. I hope you're going to be okay. I'm not texting about the rent. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I read it 3 times. Then I set the phone down and didn't respond. I needed more time before I could know what to do with him. Then came my coworker. She had seen my sister's Instagram post. The holiday collection drop, the gratitude caption, the small business love. She knew where I had been. She had ridden in the ambulance. She sat in the waiting room for 3 hours. And when she saw that post, time-stamped while I was unconscious in the ER, something in her came undone. She posted a comment from her personal account. She didn't clear it with me. She just posted it. I'm Hadley's coworker. I'm the one who found her on the break room floor. I rode to the ER with her. I sat in the waiting room. Her family was called twice and no one came. You posted this while she had an IV in her arm. You captioned it, "Everyone who believes in small businesses." She is the only investor your business has ever had. My sister deleted it within 4 minutes, but someone had screenshotted it. By that evening, it had landed on a Nashville Facebook group called Call It Out, Mid-TN Influencer Watch. The post was simple, 2 images side by side. On the left, my sister's holiday collection post, the timestamp visible in the corner. On the right, a photo my coworker had taken in the ER waiting area, not of me, but of the admissions clock on the wall, the date display above the desks. Same hour. The caption, while her sister was in the ER after collapsing from malnutrition and exhaustion, this local boutique owner was posting this. The family was called. No one came. She calls herself self-made. The internet decided quickly. My sister's follower count dropped by nearly 2,000 overnight. The comments on every post going back years became a catalog. Self-made on whose money? Her 2 small brand partnerships issued quiet terminations. No statements, just gone. She posted a response video. She was crying, the kind that photographs beautifully. I've been the victim of a coordinated attack. I have poured my heart into this business. My sister is going through something, and these lies. She's not lying, someone commented. The timestamps are right there. You said self-made 47 times on this account, someone else wrote. Where did the startup capital come from? She deleted the video within the hour. 2 days later, her account went private. A week after that, it was gone entirely. The Etsy shop followed. The website went dark. Ember and Thread, the business I had funded for 4 years, dissolved in the same week. It finally ran out of my money. My stepfather sent something that looked like a legal letter 2 weeks after I left the hospital. It was on letterhead that read Brentwood Legal Consulting in a font I recognized as Times New Roman. He was claiming our financial arrangement over the years constituted a verbal loan agreement, and that I owed repayment. I showed it to my boss at the firm. He looked at it for less than 5 minutes. Then he looked at me over his reading glasses. This is a Word template with a letterhead pasted on top. I can see the alignment is off. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. A small, slightly hysterical laugh, and it felt good. You want us to respond, my boss asked. Please. The response went out that afternoon on actual firm letterhead, citing actual statutes, noting that there was no written agreement, no promissory note, no documentation of any loan arrangement whatsoever, and that the bank records, which we were prepared to produce in full, showed years of unilateral transfers made without terms of any kind. We suggested politely that no further communication of this nature be sent. We never heard back. Nanaroo drove me from Nashville to Knoxville 3 days after I was discharged. I brought 1 duffel bag. It held 3 pairs of jeans, some t-shirts, my toiletries, and a book I had been trying to read for 2 years but kept putting down because I could never sit still long enough to get through a chapter. Her house smells like coffee and something green. She keeps plants everywhere, on every windowsill trailing down from shelves. It's quiet in a way I had forgotten quiet could be. No notifications, no phone buzzing with invoices dressed up as texts. I slept for 11 hours the first night. The next morning, I sat on her back porch with a real cup of coffee, not gas station, not granola bar, and watched the birds at the feeder she keeps by the fence. I didn't think about anything in particular. I just watched the birds. I took medical leave from the firm. My boss approved it without hesitation. He told me to take as long as I needed. He said, quietly, that he'd noticed I hadn't been myself for a while, and that he should have said something sooner. Over the months that followed, things happened slowly. I gained 11 pounds, which the doctor said I needed. My anemia improved. The headache behind my right eye went away around week 4. So gradually I didn't notice it was gone, until one morning I reached up to rub my temple out of habit and realized there was nothing there anymore. I opened a new savings account at a different bank, just mine, no other names on it. I bought myself running shoes, real ones from a running store where a person watched me walk and fitted them properly. I paid full price. It was the first thing I had bought myself, not for function, not out of desperation, just for want, in longer than I could clearly remember. My brother texted me again in the spring. I got a job, he said, part-time at a hardware store. It's not much, but I'm paying my own rent now. I just wanted you to know I'm not asking for anything. I read it several times. I believed him. I didn't respond. Maybe I will someday. Maybe not. I've decided that not being sure is okay. I don't know what happened to my mother. I don't know if the mortgage went into default. She sent one last email. Subject line, just my name, Hadley, nothing else. And I forwarded it directly to the trash without opening it. I don't feel guilty about that. I feel something, but it isn't guilt. Nana Rue and I walk in the evenings now, down the road past her neighbor's fence where the horses come to the rail, if you have a carrot. She doesn't push me to talk about things. She just walks. Sometimes she tells me about something she read, or what she thinks about the way the light changes in October in East Tennessee. It's different from anywhere I've lived. Softer. I have a little apartment in Knoxville now. Second floor of an old converted house. There's a window in the kitchen that faces east, and in the morning the light comes in at an angle that makes even the laminate countertop look like something worth having. I put a plant on the sill. I've had it for 3 months, and it's still alive. I keep the banking app on my phone. I open it sometimes and I look at the balance. Not the balance that's left after everyone else, just the balance. My paycheck goes in. It stays. There are no scheduled payments. People ask me sometimes if I've forgiven them. I don't know how to answer that, and I've stopped trying. Forgiveness is a word that implies a destination. I'm not at a destination. I'm just somewhere different from where I was. What I know is this. The morning I pressed delete on that first payment, I thought I was destroying something. I thought the ground would come up under me, that I would be left with nothing, that the silence that followed would be the worst kind of empty. But it wasn't empty. It was mine.